Good evening, everybody. This is the Carver Zoning Board of Appeals. We are having a meeting in Room 1 in the Carver Town Hall. And today is April 3rd, 2024. The first item of business is to discuss the meeting minutes of January 17th, 2024, which have been distributed to all members in advance of the hearing or the meeting tonight. Has everyone received a copy of those meeting minutes from our previous meeting of January 17th?
Yes.
Yes.
Does anyone care to make any changes, amendments, or modifications thereto?
January 16th.
What's January 16th, not
Yeah.
17th?
16th.
16th. Well, then this is a typo on our agenda. Are we sure it's the 16th? I know what it says there, but sometimes...
Hold on, let me look at my,
Sometimes
Yep.
it's difficult to ascertain where the
yep, just let me check the
typo is coming
calendar.
from.
You're right, it was the 17th.
17th, yes.
So the
17th.
typo is on the
All
minute.
right, so we will need to amend the meeting minutes to reflect the date of the 17th rather than the 16th. Anybody have any issue with that?
No.
Do I hear a motion to amend the date?
So moved.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any other changes, amendments, or modifications?
No.
All right. Do I hear a motion to accept the meeting minutes with the change of date to the 17th as opposed to the 16th of January 2024?
Motion to accept the minutes with the change in date included.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, so we've taken care of that business. The agenda also reflects this evening that case number 125-19-2-R, the petitioner being Jeffrey Benoit, for property located at 48 Cranberry Road. That case has been continued to the date of May 8, 2024 by agreement. Everybody see that?
Yes.
Yeah.
So make sure, folks, that the May 8 date is on your calendar.
Yep.
That case will be taken up, and I remind the vice chair that's one that I've recused myself on, so you'll be running the show that night on that particular case.
Yep.
This will be in your capable hands. Okay, so we have another public hearing tonight, a new public hearing, and I'll read the public hearing notice into the record. It's case number 56-206-0-R, the petitioner being Christopher Mahoney. Is he here tonight?
Yes, sir.
Requesting a dimensional variance pursuant to sections 2320, 2445B, and 5222 of the Carver zoning bylaw for property located at 18 Ransom Street in Carver. Assessors map 56, lot 206-0R, so as to build a 45-foot by 12-foot RV port entrance in a residential agricultural district. The variance is being requested due to the need for north side setback relief of approximately 18 feet when 30 feet is required under the bylaw, due to the proposed structure being greater than 1 story, and front setback relief of approximately 24 feet where 50 feet is required under the bylaw. Now, before we get into this, I invite you to come up to the table, sit in the chair. Mr. Mahoney. And I would like for you, if you could please, just to spend a minute or two with the board describing what it is that you'd like to do.
It's basically, I have a fifth wheel camper, which is fiberglass sided, and this is just basically an IV port. It's a roof with legs that's pinned down to the ground. It's basically to keep it out of the sun, keep the pine pitch off of it, try to extend the life of a $100,000 camper for as long as I can. It basically is a roof with legs. That's it. It's gonna have no sides, no ends. It's just basically for top covering. And it's gonna block a lot of the sun, most of the day sun on the side. Keeps the fiberglass in better shape, that's all. Just
So
trying to
no
protect-
sides, right?
No, sir, I mean, I think the blueprint calls for like a 3-foot return. It's the vertical panels for snow shed, and I think all the structures come with a small skirt on the, they call it a skirt panel. But it's probably gonna have 14 feet of open sides, and then the ends will be completely open.
All right. I have looked at the application, Mr. Mahoney, and I'm sure that the folks to the left and the right of me up here have done so as well. So we take pride in familiarizing ourselves with these proposals before we get in here, so we're not flipping through stuff and sounding like we're ignorant and not really doing our homework. This board does. And there are a number of issues with this, but before I get into the issues that I have, I ask board members at this time to speak about any questions that they might have or any issues they might be experiencing with regard to this particular structure, as you call it.
Okay, I have a few questions. What is the height of the RV?
13 foot 3 inches.
And the height of this covering?
I think the side walls are gonna be a little over 14 to cover, and then it's a peaked roof. I think it's a three pitch, I think they said, so it's gonna probably be close to 16 and a half, 17 feet, depending on grade at the peak.
And how long is the camper?
It's
RV.
40 foot 6 inches.
And 13 feet, 3 inches high.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead, Mr. Barrington, sorry for the interruption.
Okay, that's okay. The color of the top of it?
The vertical panels are gonna be like a medium gray to match the house. And the rest of it's probably gonna be like a galvanized, the legs will probably be like a galvanized color.
Okay. Do you consider, is this permanent once you put it in, or?
It's considered in all accounts as a temporary structure. I mean, you can get 6 guys, you could take the pins out of the ground and you could pick it up and move it. It's light metal. The only reason why it's pinned to the ground is for wind upload.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like, if you, for an example, if you go by the car wash, the portico that they do their detailing underneath, just a bigger version of that. It's just less invasive and looks better than a tent. You know, one of those big tents you put a car in.
Right.
So,
You've got it, at least according to the diagrams that you gave us, it looks like 12 feet from a fence to the backyard?
yes.
Okay. Why couldn't that be closer to the fence?
I probably could make it closer, but I'm kind of invading on my pool, there's a pool right behind it.
Right.
I could definitely kick it back.
There's some type of, isn't it like a tree or a brush or something?
There's
that-
some mature landscape there that I'd have to get
Yeah.
rid of, but, which I kind of don't want to, but if I could fit this behind my garage, that's would be my first option, but it's just, it's a big rig to maneuver it behind the garage. Yes.
So you're not adverse to maybe trying to get that back another 6 feet, 8 feet maybe?
I could probably, if I had to guess right now, I could probably get another 5 feet out of it without really, I don't want to get too much into the grade there because the grade for the in-ground pool starts to slope up, so it'll naturally shed water off the patio that's there, and then to dig into it, you know what I mean? It does have a gradual slope through the landscape into the pool area.
Okay. What is the distance away from the road once you've got that parked?
I think I put it on the plan as far
10
as.
feet to, I don't know, what's that?
35 feet to paving, but to your lot line, if I'm reading this correctly, it's 28 feet to the lot line, correct?
That's what I scaled it, yes, ma'am.
Okay.
There are trees on the right side? Are those your trees or your neighbor's trees?
The property line kind of intermingles with them.
Okay. So do you own the trees or do they?
There's probably like 4 or 5 trees, I probably own 2 of them, and they're
Okay.
not straight, in a straight line, they're pines.
Okay.
'Cause I think I scaled them about 12 feet away from the side lot line now. I wouldn't want to go any closer than that.
Will you need to trim any of that, or will this
Over the years,
fit?
both me and my neighbor have trimmed the widow makers, we call them, the dead branches and stuff. We've both gotten rid of probably 100 trees between both properties over the years, so. I'm trimmed up pretty high right now, if that's what you're asking.
Okay. I'm good at the moment, in case something else comes up.
I'm fine for now.
You know, it's interesting that you said that if you could get it behind the garage, that would be your first option. And I wonder, I mean, on your first plan that you submitted, you said that there was 13 feet from the edge of your garage to the lot line, correct? On
The proposed.
this side,
The,
over here.
The left side of your garage was.
Yeah.
So, okay.
if I'm trying to stick with that 10 feet to the side lot, I couldn't get that.
Right, but when you look at an accessory structure and what our bylaws say about them, you've got a real burden here putting it in the front yard. Because our bylaws do not allow any structures in front of your home. So if you put the structure here, you'd need side lot relief, but it would be just a straight shot back there to park it. And there's 13 feet to back it up. And I think you said it was 12 feet wide, or this particular structure is 12 feet wide. And your camper is going to fit inside the structure.
Yes.
So it would be possible to sit the structure here behind your home.
It'd be possible on paper by a bird's view, but if you look at the driveway, I've got trees up front on the curve.
Yeah, I haven't been down to your
I
lot.
have out back, there's a lot of mature trees that are there that aren't on my property that would, and then just getting to maneuver to the
Yeah,
back
but
of the garage.
it would be straight back.
It's hard to imagine, but it wouldn't be.
He has mechanical systems on the side of the garage too.
Yeah, it's a very, very tight squeeze. It wouldn't be good for use, you know what I mean?
But our bylaws don't allow a structure in your front yard. That's the problem.
That's why I'm here for, I'm asking for relief. That's,
In reference to Ms. Mello's comment, Section 2245B of the bylaws says that you can't put a structure in front of your house. I mean, it's in black and white. We are compelled to follow the law wherever it takes us. We may not always agree with it. We may think that a proposal is reasonable and appropriate, but the law is the law is the law, as they say. I don't think, since I've been on the board, that I've ever voted on a case where we allowed a structure to be placed in front of the house. Do you remember any, Ms. Mello? You've been on
14 years.
14 years. And I've been on a little bit longer than that, Ms. Dahl, just a little.
How long?
I can't remember.
Come on.
Well, and in recent years, I mean, we had one where the person was going to, what they were adding was going to be 2 or 3 feet in front of their house, and we're like, you can't do that because the bylaw doesn't
Yeah, and they pushed it
allow.
back.
And they ended up having to push it back, so, I mean, and it looks like, I mean, that was, I gotta be honest with you, that was the first thing that jumped out at me having remembered that. And then I was looking to see if there was a way that you could get that back far enough so it wouldn't be in violation of the current bylaw.
But you can't turn it because there's no drive-in.
Right, yeah.
Which is the focus of her other questions, was that there's some other way that we can shoehorn this into the property to accomplish what you would like to have accomplished.
And I totally understand wanting to cover the RV because that's what you see. Everybody puts covers on their roof to, maintain the integrity. But I just can't see putting a structure in the front yard.
Mr. Barrington, more comment from you since you began this discussion?
No, hit everything that I was thinking on. And that's why, because of the distance forward, that's why I was looking, was there any chance of pushing it back far enough? But that's why I was asking about that
12
space
feet,
there.
yeah.
There was a way to angle it differently.
Can you think of a fix?
No, it's a big unit, pretty good at backing it up, but it's just not user-friendly for out behind the garage.
Yeah, you're not comfortable.
What's that?
You're not comfortable trying to
No.
back it in to the area there.
What's the length of the RV?
40 feet.
40 feet.
Yeah, I drove by your property to get a picture before coming, and the left side looked a bit busy.
Yeah.
Where-
It's just where the garage is situated, and
Right,
the house was built at a skewed angle. When I had to come to before the zoning board to build the garage. They got rid of the frontage issue because it was in plane with the house.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
the house
Yeah.
is set on the property at a skewed angle.
right.
So that's part of the problem, is no straight backing in
Yeah.
next
Yeah.
to the,
Understand that we're making no judgment about whether what you want to do is right or wrong on a personal level. It's this stuff.
No, I understand, but you gotta look at it from my situation as my frustration, because I've been a builder in this town for over 30 years, I've pulled a permit for everything I've done. Always done it above the board, and I can drive you around right now and I can show you 15 of the same structures that are an inch away from the street.
We don't doubt your good faith, but these structures that you say are within an inch of the street never came before this guy.
No, I get it. I
That's
get,
what happens. They all
Right.
come and do it the wrong way, and he's trying to do it the right way, so.
And for that, you should be commended. But as Ms. Mello remarked, there is black and white language in this bylaw, and I've been on for 20 years, or thereabouts. I can't remember ever permitting anything in front of the house before, any structure in front of the house. And I'm trying to think of a way to make this work. You're looking for a variance also, which would have to go through a Chapter 40A analysis. We all know what that is. But I'm not even sure that we can get into that without figuring out a way to do an end run around 2245B. I mean, I think that would be an exercise in futility by doing the 40A analysis. Everybody know what I'm talking about,
Yes.
right? Let's say you install.
Well, my question was gonna be just that if had.
You
the
have a
board-
big garage on your property, but where is it?
Behind my house.
Yeah.
Yeah. So. And I do sympathize. I did have to come before these guys, and what we did didn't conform, so we had to make adjustments as well. So I do understand where you're coming from, most definitely.
Especially when you're trying to do it the right way.
Exactly.
And that, that's a kicker, because if you've seen it elsewhere, it never came before us.
I have a question. Does anyone feel like a site visit would be appropriate? Or are we satisfied based upon the drawings and the plans that we have a handle on this? Ms. Mello?
I'll have to be honest, I could not in good conscience with the bylaws in front of me vote to allow a structure in front of the house because it just opens a Pandora's box.
How many feet in front of the house do you figure this would be based upon the plan and the drawing?
20, it's half the 45.
Do you mean if it's pushed all the way back up to the fence?
Could you go I was gonna say, could you go all the way back to the pool fence?
Yeah, I could,
And then how much would that
And
be?
then how much would you have in front?
without scaling it, I'm not 100% sure off the top of my head. I mean, I probably have another 10 to 12 feet possibly to the fence.
So it's going to be 10 to 12
Yeah, this
feet
is
in front
12
of the
feet.
house.
Yep, that's not insignificant.
And, in addition to it being 10 to 12 feet in front of the house, it's still not going to be 50 feet off the road.
Let me ask you this. Do you have front steps?
Yes, sir.
And how far beyond the foundation of the house would you say those steps are?
Probably 6.5-ish. It's a 4-foot deck with,
Okay.
I think, 3 risers.
6 feet.
We're trying.
I appreciate it.
Well, I had thrown out the idea of maybe doing a sidewalk. Is that something that anybody feels is necessary in this case?
I don't know, dimensionally, I don't want to waste your time. You know what
Right.
I mean? I know the property.
Is
The problem-
everybody satisfied with the drawings and the
Oh, yeah.
plans?
Yeah.
Can I
Yeah.
didn't, I don't have that picture. You have the
This one?
picture? No, the picture.
Oh,
This is what it's going to look like. You guys have this?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's in the packet. Yeah.
How high is the peak of your house, Mr. Mulcahy? Mr. Mahoney?
The house is probably close to 17, maybe 18. The garage is like 24. It's right at the limit when I went for zoning.
Right? And so this structure here would be how tall? 16?
I think he told me about 16.
I observe that there are a couple of people here in the audience. Does anybody want to be heard on this particular matter? Okay, they're shaking their heads in the negative.
My name's Rod Palmer.
We know who you are, Mr. Palmer.
I'm members of the board, so I typically attend all ZBA hearings, so I understand the dynamics of what's happening. So I'm here for observation only.
Okay. We're happy to have you here.
Thank you.
All right, does anybody have anything further that they'd like to discuss this evening concerning this proposal?
Are you having any plans to run any electricity over to it or,
No.
to be able to use it year-round? No, okay.
This is just weather shelter, right?
Yeah. And the only thing that would, if the camper wasn't there, maybe a vehicle under it while I was camping.
Got it.
But it's no electricity, no lights, no.
Okay.
No water, no nothing.
No, God, no.
Yeah.
Is that where it is now, without a cover?
Yes.
Ms. Mello is making faces over here.
yeah, I wish it was different.
Or there's another solution of where to put
I
it.
can't hear you, Ms. Dawn.
Or if there was another solution as to where to put it.
Well, I think we've gone over all the
Yeah.
possible alternative locations. And they just don't work for the petitioner.
Yeah.
We also have to be cognizant as a board that if we allow something like this, there'll be others coming in after you, maybe not next month or in 2 months, but there'll be others coming in after you, asking for the same thing and reminding us that we did it for that nice gentleman on April 3rd.
Right.
And it's not the port itself, it's a structure in front of the home.
That's the biggest.
Yeah, that's the big stumbling block.
Does the word temporary mean anything in that instance? Just checking.
Well, you don't view this as being a temporary structure, do you?
Well, if I was to say get rid of the camper, I wouldn't keep it. You know what I mean? I don't, it's so long-term temporary, I guess. I mean, it's not permanent, meaning it's not fixed to the ground. It's not something that can't be removed easily.
If you moved, you could take it with you.
Yeah, absolutely. It's temporary because
Right.
it's not affixed to the ground. It's not a foundation in the ground, it's not on footings. So,
If the port was backed right up to that fence and only came out as far as, what did you say, about 6 feet of step up? If it was only that big, how much of the camper would not be underneath? I'm trying to help you
I
here.
mean,
I think it's about 10.
they spec'd it at 45 feet. I'm looking to just get it covered. I could probably cut the length of it down.
I was gonna say, you said it was 40 feet long, right? Or
45.
40 feet,
Well,
yeah,
no, but I'm talking about the camper, though.
yeah.
The camper's 45?
No, the camper's 40 feet, but they spec'd the port at 40.
Right, to give you some-
To give me some
To
extra.
give you
Yes.
a room.
Yes.
I mean, I could probably, have them cut it down to be just the dimension of the camper, which, again, it's something's better than nothing. I just don't know. I'd have to
But
scale
you're
it
still
out
going
to
to be
see.
in front of the house.
It'd be close, and even pushing it back. I'd have to, without scaling it, well,
You'd have to measure from the fence forward to the
Yeah.
front steps.
You want to do that?
yeah, I could do that. Let me ask you this. I mean, if you look at my plot plan, I mean, where am I, what corner are you considering the front plane of my house? Because if you look at it, it's skewed. Am I taking a line parallel from the street to my closest corner? Or am I going to the most inside corner, if you understand what I'm asking?
I would say it is the corner that angles towards the street the most, and then you would draw a straight line. So you might pick up 2 feet.
Well, over 150 feet at an I mean, I might pick something up, yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
right. So, the corner that is closest to the street is the front of your house. Am I correct?
Yeah, and 2 feet may not be enough here
Right.
anyway.
No, and that's the whole thing. If you look at it, you need to understand that anything in front of the house makes it a structure in front of the house. I mean, you could get a 20-foot carport and park your 45-foot RV under it, but
Yeah,
half
yeah.
your RV is not going to be covered.
Yeah, no. I wouldn't waste the money doing that.
Right. I know it's tight, but I'd like you to look at the side of your garage.
The other, while you're talking and saying that, the other reason why I don't want to put anything else out there, that's my access to my if I had to have a problem with my septic system, if I pin that back off, then I'd have to move it and, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yep. Yeah, but if it's temporary, like you said, it's not a permanent structure, and, hopefully nothing goes wrong with your septic system.
Yeah, that's a risk that I think he's saying he doesn't want to take,
Yeah, yep.
which I understand.
Were we thinking about the front of his stairs as a way to include that?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, we have to.
the stairs count.
That's why I asked that question earlier.
Yeah.
Stairs count as being in front of the house, part of the house. Mr. Poirier?
I've thought all the stuff I could think of to maybe help here, and we seem to be getting a little closer, but not where we need to be.
You know, we might be able to pick up a foot or two or three here and there, but it's still going to be short. You're still going to be in front of the house.
I'd have to put it on CAD and actually draw a straight line.
I'll tell you what, why don't we think about offering this nice gentleman some more of our time? We can come back, if you would like, at our next meeting, and you can bring us updated dimensions.
Okay.
If you, after doing your dimensions before May 8th, see that it's just not going to work because it's still in front of the house, then you can always notify the nice people in the planning department, or Mr. Palmer, who's sitting in the back, that it's just not workable, and that you choose to withdraw, so that you're not compelling us to make a decision that's adverse to you.
Okay. Sounds good.
I feel badly about saying no,
Oh.
and I think everybody else up here does too,
Yeah.
but, you know, we are sworn to uphold the law,
I understand.
okay? We're not the select board, and we're not the planning board. We are the zoning board of appeals, which means that we are a quasi-judicial board. We're 6 judges without the robes. And as you know, what judges have to do is interpret the law. All right, so this is not policy making, it's not politics, it's the law.
Understood.
Okay.
Just real quick,
I know.
when you're looking at your dimensions, try kitty cornering it and seeing if you couldn't kind of swing it in. I don't know how much you have here, but that might be an option.
Yeah, well, I got to deal with my wife too, so.
Now, that is political.
Oh, goodness.
All right,
I don't know,
so
I'm trying.
No, I understand.
do I
appreciate it.
hear a motion from a member of the board to continue this case to our next hearing date of May 8th to allow the petitioner further opportunity to do more measurements?
So moved.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So that's unanimous, and we look forward to seeing you again in a month,
All right,
if
appreciate it.
necessary.
I'll let you know. Thank you very
All
much.
right.
And
You're
thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for playing by the rules.
I try.
Okay, so the next item on our agenda, and everything nicely laid out, here it is. I don't think I have any correspondence to report, but to say that with this continuance and the continuance coming up on May 8th, on which I have to recuse myself, that'll be another public hearing. I can tell you, all of you, that we have 3 other cases in the queue right now, with a 4th one coming, which means that
Wow.
we will have many cases
Busy, busy.
in a short period of time. Now, we're not going to do 6 cases in a night, nor are we going to do 4. The most, and I'm speaking now as the chair, the most that I feel comfortable doing or having any of you people have to do in one evening after a long day is 3. Okay, because we take our time, right? The stuff that we do isn't easy. So I think we're going to need another date, is what I'm getting around to. We have the May 8th date for the cake, you're giving me something. For that gentleman's case, for the continued case, and then I'll choose another one that's in the queue. That'll make 3. But then we've got 3 other ones that we're going to have to forward to. So would people like to do before May? No, before May 8th, that would be a little tight because we're already into April. So we could do 2 in May, or we could schedule one in June.
Well, just my own personal opinion, because there are so many cases, I would rather get the cases heard, because depending on what the follow-up is going to be, it'd be, you know, I'd hate to push it off till June, and then we'd have to follow up with people who have already kind
Okay,
of...
so if we do the a second date in May. It would have to be at the end of May for publication purposes.
Okay.
Right, Mr. Barrington?
29th is the last Wednesday of the month.
I have to
Well-
ask for the board's indulgence while I make a call.
Okay. I was just going to throw the 22nd out there, only because it's 2 weeks after the 8th.
Everybody good on the 22nd and the 29th? Ms.
Oh,
Cole?
well, no, the 8th and the 22nd, you're saying, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
8th and 22nd or 8th and the
Well,
29th?
no, we already got the 8th scheduled.
Right.
Somebody first said 29th. She's suggesting the 22nd instead of the 29th.
But are we all good on 22nd and 29th?
Oh, in terms of availability, that's what
Yeah,
you're
right.
asking.
Yeah, one or
Right.
the other.
Yeah. Yes?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm going to ask for this meeting to be suspended briefly while I make a call and check ahead on my schedule.
Okay.
Okay.
So with your indulgence, we will go into suspension for a very short period, I hope, and then come back on.
Okay.
Thank you.
And thank you to Area 58 this evening for videoing this meeting. I don't want to leave them out. It's important that they be recognized, and they are here tonight taking in our images, especially Mr. Barrington's very handsome visage, and every word that we say. So thank you again to Area 58 for that. We stand in suspension. Been able to determine that I'm available on the 29th, but not the 22nd.
Okay.
So if we're okay with the 29th, we can schedule some cases on the 29th so we're not dealing with an overload on May 8th.
Okay.
Yep.
And I will ask at this juncture that the vice chair prepare in draft form notes with regard to the meeting tonight on this case in preparation for drafting an opinion, or a decision, I should say, when the time comes. That won't be happening for a few weeks yet, obviously. But the vice chair is more than capable of beginning to assume some of the decision-writing duties of this board. So with your
Yep.
indulgence and permission,
Of course.
I'll have you do that one, and also the one which I can't do anyway.
Yep.
Because I've recused myself.
Yep.
So those two, and then for now anyway, I will take the other four, which we know are before us or coming
Yes.
shortly.
Okay.
I'll notify the planning department what we're doing here by way of scheduling, so that we don't get jammed up, as I said before. So they'll figure out a way to put this on the agenda so that there's no confusion out there in the public about when these cases are going to be heard. Okay?
And so can I ask, have some applications already come in?
Yes, 1, 2, 3
Have already arrived?
have already arrived, and I
Okay.
think there's a fourth one I think that's coming very shortly.
Okay. So we'll be getting information?
Yeah, you'll be getting information. I was holding back on inundating you with paperwork until we had a date established. Now that we have a date established, I'll try to get everything out to you.
So now you're going to inundate us.
Now,
I'm
we
ready.
need it.
That's right. That's right. So they have prepared some paperwork for me to look through, and then I'll decide tomorrow, most likely tomorrow, what needs to be sent to you folks, because this paperwork has been arriving, it hasn't been all sent to me at the same time.
So you're going to add one more to the docket for the
I
first
think there'll be
meeting?
another one that we're going to add on
Right.
the first meeting.
And then that will leave 3 others if the fourth one comes in as
Yeah,
usual.
I'll have to look
Okay.
again at the new ones, Mr. Poirier, because some might go quicker than others.
Sure.
So it might be 2 and 4 rather than 3 and 3.
Okay.
It just depends on how, how involved these petitions are, and they are not oversized barn cases. I can tell you that right now. So Ms. Dahl is anxious to sink her teeth into this stuff, I can tell. Mr. Barrington, I'd like for you to tell me if you're ready to adjourn this evening.
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
And Ms. Cullum is thinking about this. I think she has something to say.
Nope, I second that.
And Mr. Poirier would like to discuss whether he should stand in adjournment for this evening.
I'd like to have a 20-minute discussion about whether to adjourn or not, yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, go ahead.
Maybe not.
Okay. Everybody all right?
Yes.
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Good evening, Carver. Thank you for watching.